We're here to discuss integrating the 4C's into English as foreign language integrated skills learning by Target. 4C's are known for critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. But before we start seeing through it, we want you to ask yourself, how can I be an effective English educator? Teachers nowadays are having a hard time getting the students' interest in learning. It is important to brief your students that they're about to learn how to add up to the improvement of today's developing world. Knowing English is not only having to understand the universal language, but it is unlocking the 21st century skills. Just imagine this, about 200,000 books were written in or translated into English. That's about 21% of all the published books in the world. English is the most used language in the world, and that's one of the factors that made it universal. Let's go back to the 21st century skills. First one is learning and innovation skills. This refers to the mental processes required to adapt and improve upon a modern working environment. Next one is literacy skills, which are sometimes called IMT skills, information, media, and technology literacy. This concerns with how individuals can discern facts, publish outlets, and the technologies behind them. Last one is life skills, which focus on the intangible elements of every individual's everyday life that includes both professional and personal qualities. This video focuses on learning and innovation skills that are popularly called the 4C's. Integrated skills are the teaching approach that incorporates the four language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. This develops the students' communication skills in using language to gain access to social, vocational, educational, or professional opportunities. The studies focusing on integrated skills presentation effectiveness revealed that if it is managed well, integrated skills teaching is effective to improve students' language skills and pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. The end result of this is competence in the language. To facilitate the integrated skills approach, teacher can employ two instruction methods, which are content-based instruction and task-based language teaching. In CBI, students practice language skills while engaging with activities focusing on specific subjects such as education, culture, literature, or science. In TBLT, students engage with the target language communicative tasks such as activities requiring comprehending, producing, manipulating, or interacting in authentic language, while attention is principally oriented to meaning rather than form. To develop their language skills, students are assigned to work in pairs or group to solve a problem, complete a task, or create a product. CBI is more on knowing, while TBL is more on applying. The combination of both will lead to acquiring integrated skills. That's when 4C's start, and this is where I end.
We are going to discuss about integrating the 4C's into EFL Integrated Skills Learning. Together with me, Melanie Vivian Maureen. According to the Partnership for 21st Century Learning 2011A, the 4C's are the 21st century learning and innovation skills that students should master in their classrooms to be prepared for life after high school. And here, the first 4C's skill will be discussed is communication skills. Since language is essentially a means of communication, and the main objective of teaching and learning a language is to enable the learner to communicate in it. One particular example is EFL classes program. This program have long been acknowledged as one of the most effective environments for enhancing students' communication skills. Thus, by learning English, students are facilitated to acquire and develop communication skills, and by putting the integrated skills learning in a blended learning environment, students will also develop digital communication skills. Therefore, the EFL teachers are supposed to have no difficulty in integrating communication skills with their language skills in instruction. According to Miller, 1996, 21st century communication is still the social glue that holds together nations, corporations, scientific disciplines, and families, and some aspects of communications, both oral and written, have not changed. Yet, the increasing adoption of new technologies like video conferencing, multimedia, and internet technologies dramatically changed communication in the 21st century. Partnership for 21st Century Learning 2011b accentuated that communication competence in a 21st century world involves digital, interpersonal, written, and oral communication to decipher meaning, including knowledge, values, attitudes, and intentions for a range of purposes. Such purposes are to instruct, to inform, to motivate, and to persuade in a variety of forms, contexts, and diverse environments such as multilingual and multicultural environments employing multimedia and the uses of multiple technologies and kind of medias. Therefore, in addition to the development of their students' conventional both oral and written, EFL teachers should also promote the students' ICT-mediated communication skills, and this requires the use of ICT as learning tools. As it says earlier, that EFL classes not just giving the students a chance to develop their communication skills by the using of English language, but also through EFL classes, students can develop their digital literacy skills and digital communication skills. Communication skills can be integrated through the student-centered learning approach, particularly the cooperative learning or project-based learning, in which groups of learners work together with each other to complete a task and also to solve a problem or to create a product or to produce the outcome. Here are examples of activities which teacher can use to integrate the communication skills, teach the students how to use proper strategies and also proper expressions for starting and ending a conversation, greeting, asking questions, responding to prompts, and asking for help. Train the students to properly take notes, paraphrase, quote, and summarize, because these are very vital elements of effective written communication. Next, teacher can always encourage the students to keep on improving their pronunciations by regularly ask them to listening to the English news, speech, songs, stories from like video podcasts or other videos that can easily access on the internet. And also, teacher can assign the group work to do a project relevant to the lesson plan for each student, such as translate a poem or even a chant, a song, or an interesting part of the text, writing a reader response, dramatizing a segment of the lesson, creating an alternative ending to a story, creating a rapid prototype like a drawing, map, model, program, or other forms of representation, and so on. Next is collaboration skills. The term collaboration refers to the practice of working together to achieve a common goal, like educational outcome. In the educational system, usually this can be done within a period of time, or even after the module, or at the end of the lessons. It is an increasingly important educational outcome because organizations and business have increasingly moved to a team-based work environment. Unlike most of the work of the 20th century, which is they're more insist on the individual capacity, whilst in the 21st century necessitate that teamwork uh, best to accomplish the task. To build solid teamwork, collaboration skills are very needed so that the participant skills and knowledge and also the attitude could be united, according to Foster Fishman. We know that 4C's elements such as communication, collaborations, critical thinking, and creativity are very connected with each other. And so, among the four of these elements, collaboration and communication are very closely intertwined, are very connected, and they are inseparable because they go hand in hand. Thus, the activities for integrating collaboration into English learning are interwoven with communications integration activities. So, realize we are realize that collaboration has been increasingly required in education and workplace. It is important also to know the downside. Here it says that an effective group work is where every member is fully in charge to avoid the group from becoming a slippery slope. Although we know collaboration or teamwork are giving us such benefits, and even the students agree that they can have advantages, like in enriching ideas, enhancing achievements, improving accuracy, and increasing social interaction. There are also some downside of it. Because it is work as a group, there are some members that are reluctant to actively participate. They are more tended to relax, just to keep silent and then play around, while the rest of the members, which are very few, do all the work, or the leader do all the work, while the rest of the members are very dependent on the leader, and they're just relaxed. They didn't do anything. So we realized that collaboration really important and it is required. It can no longer be only about students getting along with each other in the groups, or even about students cooperating in the groups, but it's also about the purposeful engagement and purposeful management accompanying collaborations. Thus, in every group work, students should be taught to actively collaborate by asking first their commitment to follow the group work guidelines, rules, and also their commitment to do their responsibility to strive to achieve the group's goals. As it says that an effective group work is where every one of them work together equally and fully in charge. Here are collaborative activities examples and strategies that teacher can use in the classroom. First, assign the students to complete shared tasks in groups like matching, listing, and ranking, sorting, and information gap activities such as jigsaw activities and also barrier games. And also, teacher can let the students to have fun so that they can enjoy the learning process without reducing the development of collaborations and integrated skills. And also have them to carry out an interactive activities or interactive method. This might be done by using of storytelling, like story grab bag or co-constructed stories and many other. And these activities are effective to let the students actively create, share, debrief, modify, and analyze, and also do role play stories within a teamwork or within the classwork. And then teacher can ask the students to do peer review, to have peer review their assignments or projects. So there are students that can working in the groups of 3 or 4 members, and also every student can provide feedback or evaluation on other members' assignments or even on other members' performance. This activity can be done effectively in the online or even in the physical classes. So remember that here, collaborative and communication are very intertwined with each other, and we can see that in the activities. Whenever the student collaborate, they are also using communication skills, and for them to be able to develop their communication skill, they have to socialize with each other.
Hello everyone, I am Eunice Gel Embalut. Now I'm going to report the third part of our research paper, which is about the creative thinking and creativity. Now let's go to the critical thinking, the third part of 4C's. It was originally acknowledged by Socrates about 2,500 years ago when he introduced the process of questioning, digging deeper, later called the Socratic method, as an approach for increasing human reasoning skills quality. After that, it was revived by Descartes in 17th century, and then at the mid-20th century, it was developed and prompted by John Dewey. So that's how critical thinking comes into education. There are so many different meanings when it comes to critical thinking, but it is assured that critical thinking is one of the essential skills in 21st century education. It is a complex mental process involving a diverse and multidimensional cognitive ability, and there are so many different meaning or definition when it comes to Fashion's consensus, Bloom's taxonomy, and cognitive activities by bias. So in my discussion, I want to highlight the meaning that critical thinking helps individuals to become active and effective lifelong learners. So when you are a critical thinker, you are not just it is not just for short term but for lifetime learning. Achieve understanding, evaluate different perspectives, so you're not close-minded actually when you are a critical thinker. You are open for many ideas, for new ideas. Improve problem-solving ability, which leads to empowerment. Take charge of their thinking and develop appropriate criteria and standards for analyzing their thinking. So for EFL students, it is critical thinking is to increase their ability to passionately and responsibly take, apply, and control their thinking skills, develop proper principles and standards to evaluate their thinking, and willingly judge, accept, or reject new ideas, concepts, and viewpoints. So the literature offers various techniques and strategies to integrate critical thinking into EFL learning. So it actually focusing on thought-provoking questions like, why do you think, or how do you know? Some questions like that to promote critical thinking throughout the learning process. So they are not just focusing on the surface of the information, but they are digging deeper by asking questions like, why do you think, how do you know, what tells you to. There are practical tips for integrating critical thinking into integrated skills learning. So here are some practical tips. The first one is thought-provoking questions like I said earlier. Why do you think? How do you know what tells you? So you, as a teacher, to train your learners to be critical thinkers, you have to let them dig deeper with that information, especially in the literature, or making them reflect on what they have learned. And then distinguishing facts from opinion, problem solving, completing a sentence in a way that it is not just a simple sentence, but actually they are adding their own perspective or reflection in that sentence. Reading fiction stories, because it will actually open their mind with different perspectives, and also they can add more about their own. And then employing self and peer assessment and research and debate. Those are just some of the tips for practical teaching your students to be critical thinker. Now let's go to the last part of the 4C's, which is the creativity. Creativity is the products, processes of interactions that generate new ideas, thoughts, and objects. So, although creativity is often synonymized, or it's like similar with creative thinking, but both are two different things. So, creativity and creative thinking is different things. Creativity is the products, processes, or interaction that generate new ideas, thoughts, and objects, whereas creative thinking refers to the thinking skills which enable a person to generate creative, original, or new ideas, thoughts, and objects. So, thus, creative thinking is one of the elements which build creativity, because creativity is formed by creative thinking skills, motivation, and expertise. So, it is like the product of creative thinking. Creativity is a product of creative thinking. And creativity is also an innate quality that everyone possesses and can be developed. So we have that misconception that creativeness is just visible to those artist people, or those who knows how to paint, how to sing, or anything. But actually, creativity is beyond that. Creativity is not just about that. These definitions indicate that creativity is associated with novelty, effectiveness, and ethics in using ideas, products, processes, analogy, or tools. So, effectiveness imposes that good and rewarding creativity should work and be useful, be it in the aesthetic, artistic, spiritual, or material sense, such as writing an interesting story, or making a profit in a business. So, the aspect of ethics accentuates that creativity should not be destructive, selfish, criminal, and harmful. So that is the 4C's in our report. So there are practical tips for integrating creativity into integrated skills learning, and these are some of those tips. Defining terms in their own way, of course, so you can let them imagine more. And then mind mapping. So in our if this will be applied in the former time, actually they will use drawings. But now that we are in the 21st century, mind mapping, so it means digital. So it's more on digital type of product. And then making models representing a concept. It is so broad that students can really maximize their creativeness. And then also writing online, because it's okay to also write offline, but we are now in the 21st century, and now we are maximizing the use of technology, because the power is within our fingertips. And then speech, or creating fictional stories. So that's just some of the tips that we can use to maximize the creativeness of our learners. So as you can see, we have so many skills that we need to practice or learn for the 21st century. But then these 4C's are one of those greatest skills that we need to learn in spite of the adjustments or coping up with the technologies. And then it will actually help us in learning. It's not just about learning the language. So as I hope that what we have discussed to you will help you to realize that as a teacher, in the near future, we can be one of those teachers that can enhance and develop the 4C's of the students. And of course, for us to know how to impart that one, we should claim it to ourselves first. So we should acquire it to ourselves first. So thank you and God bless.